What's going on? We are live with Cow-Tech, episode 12. I know it's hard to believe. Tyler, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Adam? Yes, it's been a long 2 weeks waiting for this episode. I'm excited. It's finally here.
Oh, man, I'm excited for everybody else to finally get to see what we have up our sleeves. We got a whole bunch of cool cats in the wings waiting to come on board and tell them their story. So what we want to do is we want to let you guys know that we're going to try and get through these guests as quickly as possible.
Rapid fire.
We have a few surprises up our sleeves, and hopefully you guys enjoy what we have in store. So we got a couple people that we're going to bring on board, and obviously we're going to start off with Dirk, and Dirk is aka Old School, but we're going to bring him on board. And we're just going to try and keep the flow going. We're going to keep it CowRC related. And we're going to see what Dirk has in store for us. So before we get started, you want to throw anything in there, bud?
Yeah. For everybody that's watching today, this show style is way different than what we've done in the past. So we've done in the past answering questions, showing products. Well, this episode is about the history of CowRC. And we have a lot of old school guys that have been with CowRC since day one. Guys that have been with CowRC before CowRC was even a thing. And there's definitely going to be guys that we're going to be talking to today that you own their products, you own products of businesses that they represent, and you have seen these guys. So, hold on to your hats because this is going to get exciting, and there's a lot of really cool stuff. And frankly, I think Adam and I, these guys have been around even longer than Adam and I have, and so we're going to learn some stuff too.
Oh, we're geeking out big time. But without further ado, please welcome our first guest to the show. Dirk, what's up?
You're on mute there, buddy.
That was a nice little intro there. Appreciate y'all very much.
Hey, man, we're trying. We're trying.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out who is Dirk Old School Anderson.
All right, guys. So let me explain a little bit. So, I'll give you a little background about me first and how Heath and I hooked up and how we got started. But, I've been around since the early 80s. I've raced in some worlds and nationals back in the days. Names like Cliff Lett, Gil Losi, Jamin J. Halsey, Magic Joel Johnson. I got to race with all those guys back in the 80s when I was a young kid and traveling and, got out of the hobby for probably, 20-something years until my son was getting old enough. And what was wild is, it's you come back on and now there's social media, right? Back in the 80s, we didn't have none of that stuff. Flip phone wasn't even around then, right? Flip flops maybe, but no flip
kidding.
So when I came back, it was pretty wild to see, like a lot of people that I raced with back in the day that were, like owners of these companies or still into the RC industry somehow. So it was cool, and that's when we started Old School RC, which kind of was a huge hit, and it's one of the largest vintage RC communities in the country.
Wow.
So during that time of starting that page up, Heath and I became close. I really saw that, the CowRC maintenance products had a huge place in the vintage community, right? The products just fit well. They using the, just trying to think, the mats fit in well, so you can see the parts, it caught all the parts, and it just helped keep you organized. Back in the day, all we did is throw a towel, on our table and, we went to town, but, being able to be organized when you're dealing with these vintage parts that are so hard to find and, keeping them organized and, having chemicals that aren't toxic with them is also important. That helps protect them. So Heath and I became very close and we talked a lot. We started talking about CowRC. We did a lot of giveaways. I had a lot of vintage events where we did giveaways. And then it kind of came time where, we started talking about, we're not seeing the product at the racetracks, right? We're seeing it, on the builders tables. We're seeing it in the community, but we're really not seeing it at the racetrack. So that time's when the CowRC Factory Team started kind of coming to light, where Jeremy Mosier and I kind of started the original team. People like Doug and Mason Eakes are some of the first people I brought on the team, which you are going to hear from them here in a little bit. But it started to get the name, the CowRC name out there more. It started showing up at racetracks, and people were like, wow, what is this product? We started special codes for our team, and I think we're probably still using those codes now, are we?
Oh, yeah, we use codes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Moo School is still a real strong
I've never heard that one.
So that's the one we still use for old school RC. So, all that started happening. The team started developing, and, people started to learn kind of what we were really looking for. We're really looking for people to be out there. What a good ambassador RC does for a product is really go out and explain it to the teams, explain it to the people at the racetracks, teach them about the product. So it kicked off, and it did really, really well. And, the factory team's still around to this day. And, I had to kind of take a step back for a while because of everything that I'm involved in with work and so forth. But, still use the product anytime I do a build. Have a very nice setup. So some of the stuff, I'll give you some examples. Heath and I, we would talk for hours and hours and hours, on the phone. And, some of the items that we talked about years ago that are coming up, I said, Heath, we really need a product, kind of like, what word am I looking for here? My wife uses them every day. But, something you pull out of a tub that already has the chemicals on it to make it easy to wipe stuff. And, I think, the product came out, about 7-8 months ago, maybe, or has it been longer than that?
Oh, yeah.
But
so you've been a kind of the head person of a lot of products that have been recently released.
Yeah, a lot of the stuffs that have recently been released, the mouse pad, the carbon series, the new soldering station. Oh, I don't know if I can say that yet. Can I?
Yeah, no, you can. Dude,
okay,
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
All right.
We got the mute button just in case.
Right.
Dump button on you.
We really talked about what do racers need and what do builders need to make it easier. Because when you're a traveling racer, I'm sure you guys know it's not easy to. Most time when I go to a big race far away, I had to have Heath send me products, right? He'll like mail them to where I'm going racing and so forth. But we wanted to come up with things that were a little easier to use at the track that, that really just really made it easy. And a lot of that stuff is coming, the new mouse pad, very easy to roll up. The carbon series kind of the same way, one of the big things, I'm like, Heath, man, when we're at the racetrack, I really want to be able to write on these things. And I want to be able to write my mains and my race numbers and all that stuff and how I placed and, times. And that's where the whole, protector ended up coming from. And so it's just been cool to see things evolved. And,
that's fantastic.
To see all the new product that's come out. And, Jeremy and I
thank you for all of that. I mean,
you're welcome,
that's amazing. I mean, I mean, Heath has told me a lot about all these, products that you guys talked about 8 years ago. So this is, really cool to hear it from the guy who came up with it. But and nice to see you seeing these things coming out like the soldering mat. So awesome to have you, Derek. It's real a pleasure meeting you and a pleasure speaking with you. So thank you so much and appreciate your envisions.
Yeah, you guys as well. Loving the show. I don't always get to watch, but I'm still watching from the background. And
thank you.
If there's anything I can ever do for y'all can reach out to me as well. But
thank you, sir.
Love the
appreciate
product.
It.
And
we appreciate it.
There's nobody like Heath in the business. And
it's so true. But thank you for the carbon mat. That was clutch.
Yes.
I'm telling you, for me and the kids, we love it. It's our new favorite. But thank you for being on board. And we are going to bring our next guest up. And we have none other than John Mullens. So check this out. John, what's up?
Nice.
John.
Great intro. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No problem. So you got a dialed setup in there. I just got to say, man, you got some nice rigs. You got it nice and dialed. It looks beautiful. And I've been following you for quite some time. You've been
awesome.
Ambassador on all the posts. Your pictures are always dialed. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I appreciate it.
No, definitely a guy. I mean, your workspaces are always what catches my eye. I mean, when we're doing posts for CowRC main page, you know, you post one up there, it's always going to be on the main page. It's you have some good style, that's for sure.
It's got to look good. I appreciate that.
So yeah, no, awesome. Yeah, tell us a little about yourself and your involvement with CowRC.
Well, I'm coming up on just past 10 years. I've actually been in the hobby. I actually met Heath through a old school RC bashers group. I have a little bit of automotive background history. So when I first got into RC stuff, of course, I used the automotive lubricants and greases. And the more I saw people promoting that stuff, and once I jumped on board and the product arrived, you could definitely tell that it was different than anything that's out there. I mean, it was definitely more catered towards what we were doing, and I pretty much instantly fell in love with the stuff. I mean,
that's awesome.
And it has a lot of content creation capabilities, because I know that you have been a steady stream of cool content. And like Tyler said, I mostly see your stuff on the actual like YouTube, or not YouTube, Instagram, and all the other like mass multimedia stuff. So I figured you've been in it for a hot second. You're rocking the classic shirt. You got all the product.
Here, you want classic? I got classic right there.
Wow.
No, but as I've been into the hobby, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in the background. I see a lot of the development and stuff going on. And one thing that I've definitely seen is, you know, I know this is a job for Heath, but I mean, Heath is doing it for the community and for the, you know, for RCs. The stuff, for products he makes is just top notch.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I couldn't be happier. Obviously, having a whole family that races, us having organization and having the ease of keeping stuff clean, it's second to none, man. I can't thank them enough. And obviously, you got a lot going on your bench. What is your go-to thing? It's got to be crawling, because I can tell by all the rigs in the background.
This is probably my latest one right here. I mean, this body's pretty old school. It's been shelved for a long time, but it's a CowRC themed body.
I love
that. And I can't even really say what it is. It's a original SCX10 that's pretty much Frankensteined out now. But that's my go-to rig.
That's very nice.
It looks awesome.
Now you're one of the original factory team drivers, correct?
Yeah, going way back. Yeah.
You were kind of like before there was even like an official team, right?
Yes. I mean, the funny thing is the way I attracted Heath was on the Facebook group I was in. The RC Bashers back in the day used to do monthly competitions for little tiny pit mats based on that group. Okay. And I did a little homemade wooden propane tank, and I painted it black and wrapped it. And I said, "Can anybody guess what the theme is going to be?" And Heath was the first one to step up, and he's like, "I can guess what the theme is going to be."
Wow.
And that's pretty much how we connected. And the next thing I know, he sent me some original CowRC license plates for my truck. And
oh, nice.
I've been moving forward ever since.
That's so awesome. Now, I assume were you and Dirk involved around the same time?
Yes, we were the original. There's still a group out there, a Team CowRC group that's kind of quiet now. But yes, Dirk and all them, they were all in that group. Yeah.
Very cool.
The OGs, eh?
That's right.
Yeah,
definitely.
The Godfather. It's like the fraternity and you're the original Godfather.
And we appreciate everything that you brought to the table, because without you guys formulating the nucleus of the team, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
And obviously, he is the cornerstone behind it all, but you guys contributed a lot of ideas to get him to this level. And man, I couldn't be any happier with the results of the team and how well of an oiled machine it is. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100% agree on that.
Yeah, we thank you for that. I mean, I'm sure you guys put in tons of hours and blood, sweat, and tears to make this, company what it is. And Adam and I are fortunate enough to be able to enjoy it. So thank you very much.
That's awesome. I'm glad to be part of it. Really am.
Well,
great,
thank you
John.
for being on board.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to chat about real quick before we jump to the next guest?
I guess the only thing I can chat about is last couple of years here in Texas, we've had the Texas Crawlfest, which is turning out to be a pretty big event, and that's usually held June or so. But we actually have branches. I started my branch in 2016 for the Austin, Texas RC crawlers, but we have San Antonio, we have Corpus Christi, we have Dallas, we have Houston, and once a year we all get together for a big Crawlfest that's located out by Canyon Lake. And this last time my guess was probably 500 people we had probably show up, but it was an amazing event.
That's fantastic.
Nice. Yeah,
That's
so
great.
the crawling scene up in Texas has just got to be lit then.
Well, I ran with the San Antonio guys for the longest time, and because there really was nobody, there was places to crawl here, but there was nobody doing it. And then 2016, I decided, let me just go ahead and break off, start my own thing. And I mean, literally, it's snowballed. I'm at 1,700 members right now.
Jeez.
Now, of course, not all of them are active, but
Right.
we literally have something going on every single day here in Austin. People going out and crawling.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
Tyler loves his crawl stuff.
I do. You are definitely my type of people. Well, thank you so much, John.
That's awesome.
Really appreciate it. It's a pleasure meeting you, and thanks for all you do. And I always look forward to seeing your photos. Keep them coming.
Awesome, guys. I appreciate having me on.
Oh,
Thanks,
hey, no
John.
problem. Yeah. So up next, we got Brian, and we're gonna bring him in style. Check this out. Oh yeah! Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Oh, just enjoying the people, enjoying the
That's
show.
right.
Thank you for being a part of it, man.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, hey, no problem. So obviously, Graves RC is a huge thing. I've seen the banners, I've seen the magnetics, I've seen a few things in behind the scenes. But you want to give some people a rundown on how you hooked up with Heath and how you got the ball rolling?
Oh wow, I hooked up with Heath about 2010, 2011. I actually had won a mat from Tim Smith Racing, and just started posting pictures, and he started liking all my pictures and grabbing them and putting them on CowRC. And then I'd started actually writing for RC Soup back in the day there. And he saw some of my writings and actually brought me on to Cow, and I was doing some of his blogging on Facebook for him.
Sweet. So you got some history then.
Yeah, we got a lot of history.
No, that is awesome, because I saw the original content back, I'm going to say 9-ish years ago, because I've only been in the hobby for about 9 years. And it was awesome to see how he picked people that are part of the team to have their stuff on the actual website and stuff like that. Like, I was like, wow, what do you mean? I'm going to get my picture on the thing? So it gave you that extra push, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it was super exciting. And you pushed harder, and you always tried to get the best content you could, just so you could impress them and try to get more pictures published, because that's what drives it, and that's what brings it around. And Heath was kind of an innovator on that. I think he was doing that a long time ago, before a lot of places were. I mean, he was kicking it with that.
Yeah,
it was always exciting.
Yeah, he basically set the precedence for the team and how the team contributes to the success of the company. And you know what? You were a huge part of that, doing the blogs and everything like that. It actually gave extra content, and people could read up on that and kind of see what was kicking behind the scenes. And I could tell by the spray can in the background there, man. Been here through the beginning, I'm guessing. I don't even know what that is. The spray can behind you.
The Moo-Slick?
Is that what that is?
That's
what
original Moo-Slick.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like the ring of the initial group of CowRC drivers.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I've actually got a can that's I got another can of original Moo-Slick that I've never opened, since I've got the new stuff in stock now. It's important to keep that old stuff. Just it's good memories, fun stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a trophy in its own, eh?
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
Most definitely.
Brian, I've seen you have some mats you've had custom made for Gues RC. Do you have any of those with you? I've seen them online and stuff. They look really sweet.
Yeah, actually, I got one with me right here at the house. I just one with me, but we just had them made out plain, so they're nice and neat, and you have the full workspace to work on. We brought in the smalls and the mediums and the work mats with the screw catcher on them, and then we brought in the large flat work mats so that you could roll them up and travel with them. We brought them both in laminated and non-laminated in the medium and the large, and really excited to have them in and have Cow manufacture them for the shop, because the name is just synonymous with quality.
Yeah, absolutely. So you manage Gues RC, and Gues RC is a large hobby shop in Florida, correct?
I manage the car department. We actually have several managers in the shop.
Wow.
And I'm the manager of the car department. It's a fairly large shop. I couldn't tell you the exact square footage, but it's really big. We have a large car department, a heli and drone department, an airplane department, and a boat department. And then we also have a general hobby area.
Wow, that must be a huge shop.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a very
that must be gigantic. I don't think I've ever been in a shop that big.
It's really exciting to work there. It's amazing. Some days you see people come in and they're taken back by how the shop unfolds, because it's kind of deceiving when you walk in at first. You're looking at a small storefront, you think, and then it just keeps opening up into more and more and more. Oh. And by the time we've actually had people come through, and by the time they get to the back, they've forgotten what they need. They don't have any clue what they wanted. They're just taken aback completely. It's really fun.
That's my kind of place.
I bet you guys have a huge display of CowRC products in the shop then?
I actually have a pretty good display of CowRC stuff, but it's most of my personal stuff. And then I have all my mats on display as well. And nice. Then it's a big shop. It's a lot to see.
I bet. That's amazing.
So you said you're into the car part only, though, correct?
Yeah. I work in the car department. Yes.
So what is your, obviously your niche? Is it racing or buggies, or I'm not sure what car means. My personal niche would be definitely micro crawlers and crawlers in general, but really micro crawlers are my favorite thing. Nice.
But the niche, as far as the shop goes, we try to take care of entry level and the guys who are just getting into it, the dad and the son who want to go out there with a car and jump their house. We do have a lot of crawler stuff in stock. Some racing stuff. We try to cater to everybody. Florida's got a big RC scene, so it's everywhere. There's a lot of crawlers, a lot of drag racing, a lot of buggy racing. It's everywhere. So
that's awesome.
To cater to one certain group is very hard, and it's almost equally as hard to cater to every group. So we try to keep it as broad as we can with what we can work with.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Florida's a great place. I go to UST every year, and maybe one day you guys will have a tent out there, and we'll run into you.
Oh, that would be so awesome. I went this past year, and it was just so amazing. I loved it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, awesome, Brian. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really interesting talking with you.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
No problem. We got Chris coming up next. So please help me in welcoming Chris Schumann to the show. Chris, what's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey Christopher, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on. You guys hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Outstanding. So what's going on this evening? How's everybody doing?
Oh, we're doing great. It is a nice episode. This is a lot of fun. I'm learning a whole lot. That's for sure.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I've been watching along here. I think I've drove with John Mullens, I do believe. I'm sure probably on more than one occasion. So it was nice to see a familiar face. Yep.
Heck yeah. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, he's got a good crew down there in Texas for sure.
Wow. Yeah. And obviously you got a different angle. Your backdrop is gonna like kind of like show everybody kind of what we're gonna get into. But man, I know that you have a specialty, a little niche, and definitely support the Udder Butter, which is right behind me. And you want to tell us a little bit about what's behind you?
Sure, yeah. So TGH Team Garage Hack, we started in 2018, and we started designing, or I designed, and we collectively as a group manufactured transmissions. And behind me is the most recent release, Super Shafty F6. So it's a multi-ratio. You can adjust the ratio in it, as well as the reduction, the overdrive, all that jazz. You can do the big outputs on it, the 5 and 6 or 6 millimeter and 8 millimeter outputs on it. Yeah. So
you guys are.
But we use the Udder Butter in all our transmissions. Yep, that's correct.
That's awesome.
Buckets, literally.
I can't believe that you've only been around since 2018. You guys are humongous. I mean, you're a name brand in the comp crawler scene.
Well, I think it's just how we do it, man. We just do it different. And I'm not saying it's better, maybe, but we love everybody. There's room for everybody. We just like to have fun, and we share everything we got. And one of the things we share is the advice around CowRC. That's what we use. CowRC grease, and we like the Moo-Slick too. The Moo-Slick, the Moo-Kleen. We use Moo-Kleen on our Homes Hobbies motors. But yeah, yep. So that's what we do. We butter them up.
Yeah, you guys got a good group. I did a comp out in New Jersey last September, and some of your drivers were out there, Bryce, and then I can't remember the other gentleman's name, but really.
Well, and so Bryce is actually co-owner of TGH. There are 4 of us. My better 3/4, Sam, Bryce Purchaser, Mama Bryce on Facebook, and then Mike Triplett, another really close friend of the family, right? So we're all 4 of the owners, and we started together. And Joe's a team driver, yep. And they told us about how much fun they had out there. They said they had a lot of fun out there for sure. They're looking forward to coming back.
So you designed and created this transmission, and obviously you must have a pretty special rig. What is your personal rig of choice?
My rigs don't stay together. I mean, I'm constantly. I guess my Class 1 truck, but I don't have it here right now. My Class 1 comp rig was probably the longest running one without being torn down and prototyped. And I rarely ever go to a competition with a truck that I'm familiar with ever, right?
You kind of strike me as a tinkerer.
Yeah, I'm a hobby. I'm a hack. I'm a garage hack, bro.
Yeah, see, and honestly, I can't wait till my kids just take over the whole racing bit, and Dad's just going to be mechanic, and I'll charge.
Cool. Yeah, and that's kind of how it started for us, right? Bryce was the driver. He's so driver tested. That was Monty Bryce, right? That dude could drive a brick and make it look good. I am telling you what.
Yeah, he's talented.
Yeah, he's a good driver, bud, and he couldn't hobby his way out of a wet paper bag. And so I'm the mechanic test. I'm mechanic approved, and he's driver tested. And one of those was we needed that's our original concept, the creeper transmission. Shamefully enough, I don't have one here, I guess.
Now, Tyler,
we be able to grease those bearings without tearing the case apart, right? Well, if you make it accessible for people to grease them, they're always greasing them. So what grease are you going to recommend? And that's how I met Heath, right? So I was just buying it, I'm just buying it. And he's like, what are you doing with all this grease? I'm like, well, actually, I'm manufacturing. He's like, well, I'll send you more than you ever need, and he sends me a box and I'm like, 3 months later, I'm like, hey, dude, I need another box. He's like,
wow,
they only need a dab. And I'm like, I know, I need another box.
So is it fair to say that all your transmissions come out with Udder Butter to the customer?
Every single one of them.
Wow.
Since day one. Yep.
No kidding. Jeez, that is amazing. Wow.
So I had a little. Actually, one of our. He was either one of the other owners or one of our drivers currently was probably Matt, team driver Matt. handed me a little thing of udder butter in a sample jar. And I'm like, tacky. I
I
like
can't
it.
believe it started with a sample.
Yeah, so we're probably his first manufacturer, to incorporate, the CowRC into our product line,
Well,
That's
So-
definitely a different angle, and
Yeah.
man, I appreciate you sharing that with us for
Yeah.
sure. Now, if I was to build the ultimate crawler, and I wouldn't mind bringing back my kids' first car because they had an SWC Axial, and it was so much fun because they were 4 years old rocking that thing back in the day.
Excuse me.
Is there a transmission?
I guess that there is the best is the best is the best is the best, and that's you can't really qualify that, right? You gotta with any build, you gotta if you gotta decide if you're gonna go super scale or super performance, and if you're going on the more performance side, then you're gonna want something that's got a multi-ratio output. So the overdrive, right? For overdrive,
Right.
overdrive was it wasn't available, it was achievable. That's where we found our niche, right? The overdrive and the transmission. And so if your performance, you want that. There's a lot of manufacturers that make transmissions out there, and I'm happy to say every one of their names, because that's why you start in 2018 and you're a name brand, right? Because there's room for everybody, right? But you just need to decide those things, and I ain't going to tell you anything's the best. I can tell you our stuff don't break. If it does, we'll take care of it, no questions asked. I could tell you it's done. It started out in the basement, actually a carport.
That's
No,
amazing.
it looks awesome, and
Microsoft.
I appreciate you having the graphics up behind you because it gives
Sure.
people an idea, right?
Yeah, so we got a clubhouse too in Lakewood, Colorado. 2 blocks outside of Denver city limits, heading west on Colfax. We've got an indoor rock pile. We have a Wednesday night comp and a Friday night comp, and
I want to come out there and meet Winchy.
yeah, come out and shake Winchy's hand. Yeah, you can do that too. Winchy's something fierce, man, and that's another thing. It's like that whole there's room for everybody. Like Winchy and the land anchor thing. The winch stick land anchor drama. Me and Bryce were like, dude, they're getting way too serious. Like, we need a mascot.
I love it. That's great. Well, hey, Chris, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm honored. Thanks for having TGH on the page.
Oh, absolutely. It's been an honor on our end.
Heck yeah.
Right.
So up next, we got none other than Joey. We're going to welcome Joey to the show. Joey,
Nice.
thanks for waiting in the wings, bud. How's it going?
Thanks for having me, bro. I feel like I'm so old out here that like half these stories I'm laughing at, like the white can. I'm like, oh my god, I remember getting those. But how you doing?
Oh, we're doing great, Joey. Thanks for thanks for joining us on the show. I like that intro. That was probably my favorite one yet, Adam.
Hey, Jeff killed it for us, and I can't wait till he does our personal.
Right. Yeah, why does everyone else get one? I don't get one.
Yeah. No, we'll have to thank Jeff in a special way for sure. But so Joey, you definitely have some cool stuff. We wanted to try something a little bit different with you, if you don't mind. We're gonna try and pull something up here, and I think you're gonna like this. Let's see if we can do this in style here, and we're just gonna kind of have this going in the background. Does this ring a bell here?
A little bit.
I heard this. How old is this video roughly?
Oh god, that might be 15 years old at this point.
Wow. Now you were a young man when you made these, right?
Well, I was actually pretty old with this. I was after college.
Okay.
Me and Heath go further back on a Micro T forum. We met up just for the love of little scale RC cars, even before CowRC was a thing.
Wow.
He talking about making RC parts for that and whatnot. And So I really got like there you go, Micro T4.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
really got like to see Heath kind of grow his dream into this blossoming thing that is just bananas to me in my head. That like it's like he's really one of the greatest guys around in the scene, and for him to have this success is it's awesome. And I'm humbled to be a part of it and to be like a part from day one.
So let's get into that actually, because we owe you a lot of thanks for some of the push and some of the things that have transpired. And obviously me and Tyler just reaping all the rewards of you putting in all this epic work. What was it like back then, man?
I ran things different. So I owned Hono Circuit, which was, as you see, like it started off as like a 2 parking spot in an 8-car covered garage in Newark. And I pretty much invited people over to just basically demonstrate what RC drifting is and let people come and get a flavor of it. So it basically started off and grew from there. And Heath was always involved, and I always leaned on him every event. We would have tons of giveaways, and I guess with the growth of Hono came the growth of CowRC, because I was hard into promoting the page and just kind of promoting the scene. And Heath was always right there to support me. So whatever event that I did, I always had crazy prizes from Heath. I think one event we did together, we had the mats were actually the trophies for the comp. So yeah, we had a lot of crazy things. Like at Hono Circuit, I remember Heath was like, so how many mats would you like? And I was like, do you make them in 6-foot foldable sizes? And he basically sent me a rolled up piece of magnetic tape with like some DIY instructions. I made like a 6-foot folded table CowRC mat that I took everywhere with me. And like to that day, the thing is still alive and in storage right now.
Wow,
Awesome.
no kidding.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of history in this track. And Heath was nice enough to give us the link to this. And man, the kid that did the transitions and the video for you guys on this one, what a savant, stealing the word from Heath himself. But this kid killed it for you guys. He made your little track look just badass.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I was definitely great at it. The name slips my mind right now. Forgive me, but
it was the Swedish RC. Is that?
Yeah.
I saw that pop up.
Yes, there you go.
Okay,
I remember that name back.
Now, are you a pure drifting guy still? Or are you into any other RC areas?
What really started me off the whole RC thing was anything micro I was into. So I still love micro crawling. I love RC drifting, and then I do just have like a full size crawler too to hang out with just some of the guys in the woods and enjoy some of the good times.
Very nice.
Well,
nice.
Yeah. So I remember Heath, like back in the day, used to send me packages, and I was like living at home with my parents. And my dad asked me, he's like, "Who's this older kid that keeps sending you all these like shady things with like warning flammable and you got ship?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's Moo-Slick and all the other old school stuff."
So what's one of your favorite old school products?
Honestly, is Moo-Slick. Like I don't want to curse, but you know, like the hot sauce slogan, I use that on everything. Like from RC parts to like yesterday, my sliding door wasn't working. I used it on that.
Yeah.
I'm doing an E46 full size drift car, and I use like the degreasers a lot and the Moo-Slicks to get that going. I really use Moo-Slick instead of anything. I would use WD-40 on as like I don't know if you want to beat that out, but that's how like much CowRC is in my heart. That anytime I want to use something that I need an aerosol lubricant, it's Moo-Slick. And then one of the latest products that really blew me away on like how far everything's come and like how complex is the Udder Butter. That came out right around when I don't know if I was getting samples of it, but you put that stuff in your diffs And it's funny, like I'm so in bed with like a maintenance company, and I'm like the worst maintenance person there is. Like I fix it run, you know what I'm saying? So like if I found a product that if you could stuff your diff with it and then run your crawler like completely underwater for months and then have no gear issues ever, like that's insane. So I even started using the Udder Butter in my drift cars a little bit.
Yeah.
In the diffs, like you would pack
the same.
so hard. Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Joey, man. I love the videos. I was just kind of mesmerized. I'm a drift fan myself, so I appreciate all those old school drift videos. Thanks. And thanks so much for being on the show with us. Really appreciate it, man.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate having you. And it's been a pleasure from all the way back then till now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, man. Thanks for being a part of the team. And we'll definitely check up with you next time, man. I appreciate you being on board.
All right, man. Looking forward
Hey,
to
buddy.
it. All right.
All right. So up next, we got Doug and Mason. We're going to bring them on in style again. Check this one out.
Hey, fellas.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for waiting for us.
No problem.
Yeah, we definitely have learned a lot tonight. Lots of great guests so far. And obviously, you guys got a little different take to it. Father-son combo coming at us strong right now. And what's your tie to the Moo?
We met back in 2017. We met Dirk at Psycho Nitro. And Jeremy Mosier. And we got on board in 2017. Had a lot of off-road racing. Then 2 years ago, we started doing a lot of drag racing 2-3 years ago.
See that, yeah.
And I reached out to Heath, and he sponsored our first Jammin' in July event for the winner of our 3.0 index class, which is to get people into it. And I could reach out to him, and he's always been that. It's been a great company to be a part of.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a cool cat and always looking for ways to support the hobby and help grow it. That's one of the biggest things I appreciate about him. And now I see a whole bunch of rigs behind you. Obviously, you guys are both into drag racing. Who's faster, Doug or Mason?
Depends on the day.
It's about equal. We both share tune-ups and all that.
Yeah, we both share tune-ups. We're learning the new electronics. We're learning at the same time.
Yeah.
There's so much data you can get off of the new electronics.
With the new electronics, you can data log to be thousandths of a second.
Sure.
That is pretty crazy.
It gets to be like, I mean, everything's getting into almost like a 1-to-1 ratio where, I mean, it's a 1/10 scale, but you might as well be a full-size drag car.
Everything's identical. The data logging works the same.
Does it really? Okay.
You can look and see where it's spiking, where it's spinning by a big old RPM spike in the graph and everything.
Okay.
If there's a current draw, if the car's getting stuck on the line, there's a lot of stuff you can be able to notice from the data.
Nice.
See, and now you're talking like a real drag racer, because you want to make sure you maximize that tune every which way you can, eh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's so kick-ass, man. No, that is cool. So, what rigs are you guys running right now for drag kits?
Drag Race Concepts Mavericks.
Nice. And obviously, you guys are both running the same chassis?
Yes, sir.
Very, very cool. And obviously, you guys got some CowRC stickers on them bodies and stuff like that. I see it all rocking in the background.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite products? Mason, you go first, boy.
I'm going to have to say the Udder Butter.
Nice.
I've been using that stuff since 2017. We even got still the OG stuff.
Oh, the red?
Yeah.
Wow. That's worth money right there.
Yeah.
We've been using it since then.
Wow.
And then we finally got the new stuff last year after we ran out of the old stuff, and the new stuff is just as good or better.
Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
But, all right. What about you, Doug?
I like the Udder Butter, the Moo-Slick, the parts and chassis wash. One of my favorite things is the Turbo Blaster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that thing will blow the paint off your body, even if you haven't painted in the inside of the Lexan.
Exactly. We get a lot of rocks and dirt and stuff in these drag cars, and it just blows it right out.
Nice. Very cool. Anybody you want to thank before we go on to our special guest?
Heath for doing all the stuff he does for everybody.
Yeah, he's the man for sure. And man, I appreciate you guys waiting in the wings for your turn to hype it up. It's awesome to see a father-son combo. I hope my son's still hanging with me in a few years, and forgives me for not having his battery charged today. Jeez Louise. And we'll try and make sure we come back swinging next weekend. But thank you for being on the show. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, we are going to bring on our special guest. So check out this intro. Hopefully he likes it, and we'll see how it goes.
Got it.
Oh dang!
What's up, Mark?
I need that intro.
Yeah, we're gonna send it to you, boy, man. Welcome to the show, and man, hey, man, thank you for waiting and being patient as we click through everybody. It has been an awesome show thus far, and I told Heath I would not geek out over you, so I'll let you do the talking and kind of basically. I know I have a few questions. I'm not sure about Tyler, but I know that you have been promoting the hell out of CowRC.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching all your YouTube stuff and killing it, bro.
Honestly, I really just use the stuff I really like. So it's you guys are getting promoted because I use y'all stuff all the time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, for the longest time I wasn't using Moo-Slick. I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird. You don't have to dry it off. I started using it. I was like, oh my God, why was I not using this for so long? And I hit Heath up. I was like, Heath, I need more of this stuff. I'm like going through like crazy because I'm cleaning all my cars with Moo-Slick. But man, I love this stuff, man. It's awesome. But I'm excited because I'm usually on the others. I'm usually you, Adam.
Right.
I'm the one doing the podcast stuff. So I want the questions. I don't want to be asking the questions.
I've been a big fan of you. Yeah, on the tone, like you've been like a huge staple in the racing RC scene. The way you're doing it and trying to tie in the basher scene is epic.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was so jealous when you got the carbon mat before me. I'm like, bro, I'm on the team. It's like, yeah, right. So the way that, if everybody hasn't seen it yet, the way that you did the videos was pretty cool. Now, I do have a question. And for making the content, what is your go-to camera? It can't be a phone, is it?
It depends. It depends. So if I need like a lot of image stabilization where I'm walking around or if my sons are recording for me, I usually use a phone.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
For the longest time, I actually used a GoPro, just a regular GoPro. One of my inspirations with my YouTube channel was, have y'all ever seen Cletus McFarlane? That YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
Yes. So he doesn't do a lot of production. It's very raw. It's like you can tell he's just using a simple camera. But he has amazing content and crazy views. And I'm like, man, I'm not a video guy. I'm an RC guy. So I try not to focus too much on my camera stuff. Now, with that said, I do have a decent camera. I have a Canon R8 that I do shoot some content with whenever it's more stationary. But yeah, I do use my phone a lot.
Yeah, so when you did the carbon reveal, like it was so cool. It was such a well put together video. Obviously, like the way that you did the opening, the box, the reveal, the rollout, and all that stuff, like I can't believe that it looked like it was like production. I was like, I gotta try and copy that stuff, man.
Well, it's funny because before I shoot a video, like in my head, I already know what the video is going to look like. So I'm essentially running the video through my head and I'm recording as I'm running through my head. And people always tell me, you should get a camera guy, you should get an editor. But it's impossible to get what I'm thinking out to tell people like how to do it. But there is a lot of thought that goes into those. And it's funny because anytime my kids are riding with me to the track or something like that, I have to apologize to them. Like I like to obviously spend time with my kids and talk to them, but sometimes I'm dead silent. I'm like, look, son, sorry, I'm quiet. I'm like thinking through my head. I'm thinking through everything. And they totally get it. So before I record, they know that I'm super quiet. I'm just thinking through stuff. But I think through it a lot. but I try not to do. I don't like to edit, so I try not to do a lot of like different takes and things like that. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. It's actually, it's really hard. It's really hard to shoot. And if you've ever shot it before, it's really hard to shoot white stuff. So,
Sure.
So
yeah,
like,
it gets real glossy and bright and washes out everything. Yeah.
Exactly. So like when I was shooting the carbon series mat, I remember shooting the mat, but you couldn't see the weave in the carbon because the magnetic mat was down. And I was like, dang it. So I had to pull it off and get the weave. But it's like things like that. Sometimes I'll see it and I'm like, oh my God, do I need to just reshoot this whole thing again? There's a lot that goes into those. But I'm glad that you guys appreciate it. I'm glad it's not going to waste.
I mean, no, well, the cool thing about your videos is it's always very authentic. I mean, you come across as a true hobbyist, and you love trying new things, and it's like kind of an honest opinion. You're sharing your opinion on things that you truly like. It's not just somebody told you to tell you like it.
Right.
You really feel, it feels like you really like it, and I'm always curious about like, how do you pick products that you like and want to endorse, and kind of like how do you, I guess, justify if somebody's worth talking about and sharing a video about?
At first, when I was becoming a content creator, I wasn't as picky, right? I was like, oh yeah, cool, I can get that. I want to do a review on that. But I've always been like, and I have a tendency just to look on the positive side. Like, I think every car has a reason, has a place, like was built for a reason. And instead of like hone in on its bad things, I'll always bring up why I think it's really good. But I will always give my honest feedback. And I've never, every time someone has given me a car, I've always said, look, so long you don't care if I'm honest. And I have, some people think that I don't have partnerships with some manufacturers because they're afraid of that. But I mean, honestly, I always spin it into, I do my best to spin it into a positive, even if it can come off negative. And I know that when it's your car, it's your baby. I mean, you take those things personally,
Oh, absolutely. No. How long, like when you're doing a video, how long does it take you to basically produce a video? Like, let's just call like a CowRC box opening. Like some of your episodes, you'll have like some CowRC box openings and some other product box openings. What's like a typical video take for you to, produce, edit, publish, that type of stuff?
So it probably total, I would say maybe 6-7 hours. Now, recently, I haven't been doing as much. I'm trying to release release longer videos twice a week instead of 3 times a week or 4 times a week like I was. But I'm doing my big thing, like when it comes to YouTube, it's all about capturing that audience, getting what they call the click-through rate. You want to get the clicks. As much as I want to like promote certain brands, it's better that I get the clicks and the views for that brand as opposed to putting that brand in a title or something like that. So it depends. A lot of times the way it works is I'll shoot pieces of the video and then I'll edit pieces and then I'll put it all together at the end. So I don't like, I think now it takes me about 2 or 3 days to do a video. But I do still work a full-time job. But I'll go play, I'll do an unboxing, I'll do all the editing at night. And it turns out pretty well.
Oh yeah. But I spent a lot of time watching them.
Oh no, me too. Now, the one thing I wanted to ask, like, you guys are doing the box and the RC Box Club. If not anybody knows, it's been a pretty good success from what I can see. And how do you pick the products for that? Because like that was pretty cool that people are getting like just amazing stuff in these little boxes.
Yeah, people actually, maybe people don't believe that. I truly, like, whenever I have, so we have RC Box Club meetings once a week and we do the brainstorming, but really it's all about, like, it's usually me saying, I want this in the box, and everyone else trying to figure out a way to make it work. But the way, just like in my videos, whenever I really put my heart into things, and I put my heart into every single one of the RC Box Club boxes, like everything in the box are things that I have multiples of, that I use all the time, that I really, really enjoy. So, luckily, it's grown to a point where most of the companies are open. So, like, if I like something, I can reach out to a company, and they're usually open to collabing with us. But yeah, the RC Box Club has been great. It's just a really great way to kind of build your gear. And I know people have been in that situation where you've needed something and you don't have it. This is something where I know everything that I need, and I'm trying to give it to these people that are, that are into RC, and they just get these things. So.
And they may not know about those particular products because you're basically introducing them to some new stuff. And
Yeah.
that's why, like, obviously I see the green Mustang with the high wipes behind there. And I'm a huge fan of the hide wipes just because obviously when I bring the whole family out to an RC event, sometimes we don't have running water and stuff like that. So to be able to use the hide wipes and clean up after a mucky event, it's always good to have. What is one of your favorite CowRC products?
I love the hide wipes. I actually like them so much. And if you couldn't tell from like my videos, I'm very meticulous and I like to have a lot of things. I like it so much that I almost don't like using them because I just like them. You know what I'm saying?
Preserve them.
Yeah, I want to save them. Like I make sure I use every wipe to like its max, like where it's just a completely dingy and dry. I'll even sometimes if it's not dirty and it's dry, I'll just put it aside. Like maybe I just need something dry to wipe. But I absolutely love the hide wipes. I talk to Heath all the time about. I really want something that's like a smaller thing to put because I want to put them everywhere.
Right.
And luckily, my team and my guys that I run with all the time, they all love the hide wipes too. So usually someone has hide wipes. But yeah, it's weird because when the biggest problem is that I like them too much, and I don't want to use them. I love the hide wipes, but I like my if I had to rank the top three, hide wipes definitely number one. Love the parts clean. I love how it the Moo-Kleen. I love how it penetrates when it sits. And then again, I wasn't complete transparency. I wasn't a big believer in Moo-Slick for the longest time. I started using it, and now it's like every car I clean, I throw Moo-Slick on there. So
yeah,
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's like one of those addictions. It's like you realize like what it's doing and how good it looks, and you're like, oh, wow, I'm going to use this on other things. I mean, like we were talking to some of the other guests, and you start using it from like home remedies, like door hinges and stuff like that. It just kind of multiplies in its abilities outside of RC.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. I love that stuff.
So I know that you go through a lot of Traxxas cars, and some of the favorite videos that I have, I actually got two Traxxas cars because of you. And
nice.
I started with the Traxxas, which got me into the hobby, which was the Traxxas /4x4. And then they brought me to an event, and my first RC event, I was like, oh my, you guys race? Like, holy cow, I didn't even know that. And then I went just addicted, and I'm addicted, kind of like the rack you got behind you. But the one thing that I noticed that you go on a lot of like big buys, like you buy like bulk, right? And then you just fix them up and then you sell them. Is that like kind of what happens?
Honestly, I have this problem where I can't pass up a good deal. So sorry about my.
Is there a Halloween?
I'll take some of that.
Is it Halloween and where you are right now?
Oh, that's my butler. You didn't know I got a butler that's with me all the time.
I see.
Those are.
That's what happens when you have 100,000 subscribers. Is that right?
I guess so. I didn't know this was happening, so I'm just going with it.
He's using your hide wipes, though.
Was he using my hide wipes? That's right, he is.
Yeah.
But so the question on what was the original question about Traxxas? Sorry,
I see that you buy large bulk.
Buy bulk, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got to fix them all up, clean them. I know you were going through a whole bunch of parts. I watch all your episodes, so I kind of know a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. Not really behind the scenes, what you share with us, and it looks like you fix a lot of kits, man.
I cannot turn down a good deal. It's like impossible for me. Today I bought a car. I bought two cars from someone. I have like my preferred buyers that I buy from, and basically they're people who just like building and they don't really run them, and they're like, okay, I'm done, and they sell me really cheap. And I still buy a lot of used stuff. And to shoot you straight, like if I were to approach Traxxas and like let's say I wanted to do a video on something, they would probably hook me up with that car or whatever for me to do the video. But I still buy stuff because I can't pass up good deals. It's crazy. So I still buy a lot of cars. I even though I don't need any more, I buy multiples of things. It really is like a weird quirk of mine. I can't explain, but I do it.
Well, that's what
you
makes
got
the
another
video so awesome.
weird quirk too, because you're also a bag guy.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I seen your video with the 2 new bag reveals yesterday, and I gotta say, the OGO bags that you have are pretty epic. You got some custom ones. You got your standard ones. You got I think the 9800 is your go-to OGO, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I have probably I counted at one point. It's something like 10 or something like that.
Oh my god!
But I have basically they have so many different colors.
Yeah.
And if you guys who are watching don't know what it is, it's kind of like the standard for RC racing travel luggage, and they're pretty pricey, like $350 or whatever. But they make all different types of designs. So anytime I see a design, I'm like, I need that. And I seriously, I have problems sleeping knowing that I might not be able to get it tomorrow because they sell so fast. And I went through this one kick where anytime I would go to a large race, I would bring stuff back and I would buy an OGO there. It was like kind of like my way of doing a souvenir thing. So yeah, I have an insane amount of bags. It drives my wife crazy because it takes over the entire closet. But I just recently, I like little bags, so I just recently in the RC Box Club we have the S-Works bag. I don't know if you see it. Did you see that one?
Oh, yeah.
That bag is awesome. And the bag that I was using before that's that size is the hoodie bag, which that little hoodie bag it's like $80. It's something insane.
It's
wow.
So, and you guys are giving it away in the Box Club, which is awesome because a lot of people just have their stuff in like a little tote or I don't even know what you guys have over there, but we call them like little like plastic keepers, and they crack and they break. The oil gets in all over the place, and having a proper bag for oils is clutch, especially if you're into racing.
Yep, I'm a big bag guy.
So, speaking of racing and stuff like that, what is your next big event for racing?
So right now I'm in kind of this drag racing kick, but I started. We're trying to do like Street Outlaws RC style, and we're trying to do RTRs only. Like I feel like I love the drag racing concept, and I feel like the RC racing drag racing industry has grown so fast and has innovated so quickly that anyone who wants to try it, it's scary. Like I remember when I first started doing drag cars and just like toying with it, I was like, oh, I want to get in 2.5s because the guys that were running under 2 were just unheard of fast. And then I see Scotty's race and it's like 1.5, 1.5, 1.4. I'm like, what? Jeez. Like, what is happening? Like, it's almost impossible for anyone that's new, that doesn't know it, even someone that like me that knows a lot about racing but doesn't know anything about drag racing, to get into RC racing or RC drag racing. So I started this series where we're essentially, it's RTRs only. It's so anyone can go pick up an RTR and just drag race. And we're not making any money on it. It's just a bunch of us getting together and racing like Street Outlaws. And I don't know if I'm going to make content out of it or whatever, but it's really just because we're having fun. And we do it late at night. I announce the location like the night before. We might get ran off. We might go to another location. We do pin drops. So we try to give it like that real drag racing vibe. Yeah, it's so much fun. So that's actually why I'm at my buddy Barry's house. We're testing right now because next week is our first list race. I'm like, dude, if I don't get on the list, if I don't get on my own list,
right, it's embarrassing.
So, are you guys doing flashlight start?
Well, we are. We're using the Traxxas drag light, but it's awesome. We're not doing any timing system. We're gonna do the Traxxas drag light start, and then we're gonna do chases a race. You cross the center line, you lose. You cross the outside line, you lose. But we're also only doing 1/8 mile because we noticed that depending on how much like practice you really got to put your time in to be able to run a really good, consistent quarter mile. So much can happen in a quarter mile. Where an 1/8 mile, it's all about just putting the power down. You really can run just stock gearing, just as long as you put the power down. I mean, you can see the acceleration is all the way through the 1/8 mile. So we're running 1/8 mile. We're trying to keep it as much as we can towards just being a driver and not, seeing how much money you can throw into it.
I love it. I love the idea because like I'm getting a little discouraged. I'm stuck at 2 seconds flat with my drag setup, and I'll give you a little CowRC plug here. We got the new spray. We got a whole bunch of new aerosols, and we have the new bearing one, which I think Tyler has right there.
There you go.
Yep.
I actually put it in a stock slash and did a bearing spin competition, and we used the drill so it wasn't tampered with. And we got almost an additional 13-second spin once I treated the bearings with the thing. I also showed on my video how to remove the flash on the blue insert on the bearing as well. And just by doing those 2 things, because a stock slash has 2 bearings per tire, times that by cutting all the inserts up. That's 16 contact points that are still running stock, but it's just getting rid of the rolling resistance. So there's my CowRC plug for the bearing spray.
Wait, I have a confession about the that's the PTFE spray, correct?
Yeah.
When I got that stuff, I was like, this is awesome, but I know what I need it for, and I use it on my bikes.
Okay. Like chains?
Yeah, because the bike chains, the good bike chain stuff is usually PTFE coating. So I was like, I'm gonna do stuff on bikes. And
I saw someone doing that with the Promoto. Someone was doing that with the Promoto chain and putting that on that, which is awesome.
Yeah, it works really well. So yeah, man, I'm nowhere close to that. Like those, I don't know how, like it would have been crazy if I would have got under 2s in the quarter mile. Like these guys that are running 1.5, it just blows my mind. It's crazy.
I run 3 2 flats now, and I feel like I'm hitting a wall. I've added extra power. I've worked on my tune. I've like even changed bodies to see if it helps. Like I feel like I'm truly stuck. But I know that people that aren't really into the hobby, like you were saying, trying to chase that number, man, when I first got into the no prep, it was during COVID. And when we were running 3 2s, everybody was like high-fiving and cheering and stuff. And now it's just like boom, 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 boom. Like the sky's the limit right now. And it's pretty cool. Before we cut you off, bud, is there anything that you would like to say? We've done enough talking, and he wants you to say.
I just want to thank all of MSM, like all the people who've supported my channel from the beginning. I want to thank everybody there. Obviously, thank Heath for bringing me on, supplying me with all the CowRC stuff. My wife and kids, seriously, like I know that sounds really cliche, but guys have no idea how much they do for me, like on the back. And my son, he can't stand recording for me, but he has to record for me every time. So like none of these things would be possible without them. So thanks a lot, and thanks for having me on, guys. This has been a blast.
Thank you so much.
You know what? Yeah, it's our pleasure, big time. I try not to geek out too much, but I definitely appreciate you coming on board. And thanks for doing what you do for supporting CowRC too. I know me and Tyler love the products, and we're happy to hear that you love the products as well. And man, I love watching the content. Keep it coming, and good luck at your next big event, man. Hopefully you get on the list.
I better be on the list. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, man.
Mark.
Have a good one,
man.
Thanks.
All right, man. That was epic, man. Oh, Cap.
Jeez, where am I?
Exactly. We went over just a little bit, and we do apologize.
Okay.
But, man, thank you guys for being on the show. Everybody that contributed to the CowRC, the whole history, the different views, looking at it from outside angles, man, we appreciate it all. And you know what? And me and Tyler were just along for the ride. It was pretty cool, to hear their stories.
It was cool
Tyler,
to learn. It was cool to learn on the show. You know, we're used to telling everybody what CowRC is all about, and here we're just kind of like the rookies compared to some of these older guys that have been here 10+ years. So, you know, thanks so much to everybody that joined with us and teaching Ab and I more about CowRC, and I'm sure everyone else on the show learned just as much, if not more.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. Until next time, don't forget, use the code Cow-Tech to save you 10%. We'd be remiss not to say that. And Tyler, man, I think that's it for tonight, bud.
Yes, sir. Great show once again, and it was awesome to try something new. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and if they do, please, share this episode and tell us what you think. And if you guys really like this type of format, we've got plenty of other guests that we can be inviting and talk with things such as this. So let us know, and we'd be happy to do it again.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.